everyone, it's Julie at JMI Slims. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be giving you an overview about how the Slimming World plan works and how you can food optimise. I've had a few requests for this. I know in my original vlog I gave a bit of an overview of the plan and how I've been working to get my weight off. But yeah, I thought today I'd just give a little bit more detail about how you can food optimise on the Slimming World plan. So Slimming World works off like a 3-step process. So the first step is that you can eat unlimited food, unlimited free food. So free foods are classed as your fruit, your veg, and your protein. Some of those things are classed as speed, and speed are the things that are very low in calories. So you can eat as much of that, and I encourage you to fill a third of your plate, at least a third of your plate, with speed food before you add anything else to the plate. So your speed food is your things like your salad, your veggies. It doesn't include potatoes, and there's a couple of other things it doesn't include as well. But yeah, the idea is you pile your plate up with that and then fill the rest of your plate with your protein and anything extra that you're going to be eating. So your speed food goes on first. That's your fruit and veg. One thing we were talking about in group this week is people adding their speed food to their plate after they've plated up. And actually it's recommended that you fill the third of your plate first, so it limits the rest of your portion that you're putting on. So for example, rather than putting in a whole plate of pasta and putting your vegetables on the top, for example, that's not reducing the amount of pasta on your plate. So actually a third of the plate is that speed food, and then you dish your pasta up, so you're not actually having as much as you normally would, but you're still filling up with that speed food. So the free food, I'm just going to refer to my Slimming World book here. So your free food is all of your lean meat. So any meat really, as long as you've taken the fat off it, and that includes any cooked meat like bacon. Your mince has to be less than 5% fat. And it includes all of your cold meats as well, chicken, game and offal. It covers all of your white fish and your shellfish and your oily fish. So all of those you can have as much as you want. And then you have your speed food, which is your, the other proteins are your eggs as well. Eggs and beans and your rice and pasta and your grains, all of those are free on Slimming World. So you can fill your plate up with those as much as you want. Now, when it comes to grains and carbs, like your potatoes, your pasta and your rice, those are things I have to limit because carbs really affect my weight loss. So some people can have that massive mound of rice and pasta and what have you, but I can't get away with that. So I try and limit that to maybe 2 or 3 meals a week, and even then very small portions. Yeah, pasta, I wouldn't have the great big plate that I used to. I would literally put my speed food on and then add my pasta. So it does reduce the amount, and I do find that I get the better losses when I cut those carbs down. So the free foods are your lean meat, your fish, your eggs. Certain dairy products are included in the free foods as well. So things like fat-free yogurt, fat-free Greek-style yogurt, the skyr yogurt you can get, cottage cheese and quark. All of those, if they're fat-free, are free on Slimming World, so you can eat as much of that as you want. And in fact, some of those things actually are classed as protein as well, so they are really good for filling you up. So I do tend to get the fat-free Greek yogurt, because, you know, I can flavour it myself, or I can put fruit in it, and it just saves a few sins as well. So free food, fill up as much as you want with the speed food as well. I'll just highlight, so a couple of things that aren't classed as speed vegetable. So your potatoes, plantain, sweet corn and sweet potatoes. So you can still have them, but they're not classed as speed. So really you don't want to be filling up a third of your plate with them. Your free food vegetables also cover certain beans and lentils, so you can have things like peas and mushy peas, that kind of thing, but they're free and protein, they're not speed food. Then you've got your fruit, so again you can eat as much fruit as you want on Slimming World. Most of your fruit is classed as speed, apart from things like bananas. You know, they're free, so you can still have them, but they might slow the weight loss down. Other things that aren't speed, our pineapple, Sharon fruit, kiwi fruit, those kinds of things. But all of your berries, your seasonal fruits, like apples, pears, those kinds of things are all free. So the idea is to fill up, so the first step of Slimming World is to fill up on all of those things, so your protein, your eggs, your fruit and your veg. The next stage are your healthy extras. So the way that it works on Slimming World is you get 2 A choices and 1 B. So A choice is your dairy, so you get a measured amount of dairy every day, but you get 2 portions of it. So a measured amount might be, and that covers your milk and your cheese. So a measured amount, just to give you an idea, 250 mils of semi-skimmed milk is classed as an A choice, and around 30 grams of normal cheddar cheese is an A choice. So you can have 2 of those a day. So that could be all your milk and your tea and coffee, and then you'd still have 30 grams that you could have cheese with something if you wanted to. And then you get 1 healthy extra B choice, and that's your high fibre foods. So your cereal, on the sort of different amounts depending on what sort of cereals you're having, but in general it's around the 40 gram mark that you can have of cereal, and that's your things like your bran flakes, all bran, sugar-free muesli, Weetabix, that kind of thing. So 1 portion of that, or you can have wholemeal bread, and it has to be wholemeal, and it's 60 grams of any wholemeal bread, so that could be your B choice. Other things that are classed as B choice are crisp breads, Ryvitas. Ryvitas are really good because you're allowed 4 of those as your B choice. And then you can also choose nuts and seeds or cereal bars. So you might see that you can get things like the Hi-Fi bars in group with, or in Iceland from Slimming World. Or you can get things like the Skinny Crunch bars or the Alpen light bars. And the majority of those, as long as they're the low calorie ones, the Skinny Crunch, you can have 2 of those as your healthy extra B. So you're filling up on your speed and your protein. You can add in those healthy extras, so you're getting your calcium and your fibre. And then the final part of the plan are your sins. Now, I know I'm allowed up to 15 sins. I think it's if you're over 16 stone, you get, I think it's another 5, but you'd need to check that if you are going to follow the Slimming World plan. So you're allowed up to 15 sins a day, and that covers all of the naughty things that you want. That could be sauces and things that you want to add to your food. It could be butter. It could be treating yourself to a takeaway. So you get 15 sins. Now, I try to use between 5 and 10 sins a day. I think the plan works if you do use your sins, because then you are treating yourself and allowing yourself to have those extra things. If you deprive yourself, yeah, you might get the better weight loss, but this is about a healthy, balanced diet, and you are still allowed some treats. So I save my sins for maybe like caramel sauce on something, or an extra bar if I want a bar on a night with a cup of tea. I get things like the Maria sugar-free biscuits, and they're 1 sin each, so I can have a few biscuits with a cup of tea. I do get some of the low-calorie sort of chocolate bars, so I can have those on an evening. So there's lots of things that you can use your sins for. On Slimming World, you know, they do give you some ideas of what takeaways kind of equate to. I do like a takeaway still, and I have had takeaways. I had a couple last week, and it's just knowing what you can have so that you can still have that treat. So there's certain things. So when I get a Chinese, for example, I get chicken in black bean sauce, which I know is about 10.5 sins, and you can have boiled rice with it. So that's part of your free food. So that's a good option. You can also have things like fish and chips. So if you take the batter off the fish, your fish is free. You can have mushy peas, which are free in protein, and then you can sin the chips. And on average, a portion of chip shop chips is about 10 sins. So you can have these treats within your allowance. It's just factoring them in. So if I know I'm going to have a takeaway, I'll have really low calorie food all day. I'll stick to the free foods, the speed food, to fill myself up and save my sins for that treat in the evening. So that's just a bit of an overview. And I think the key thing with Slimming World is meal planning. You have to meal plan. You know, that's the only way this has worked for me, is if I sit down every week and plan my breakfast, lunch and tea, so I know that I've had my healthy extras, what speed food I need to buy, because obviously, you know, fresh fruit and veg can cost a little bit of money. Plan to batch cook sometimes, so I'll do extra so that I can take for lunch or have it to freeze for the next week. So yeah, planning is key. You know, when I come in on a night, I've come in from work, I've got the kids to sort out, so I need things that I've planned, either cooked beforehand to warm up or things that are really quick and easy to make. But I've been doing this now for about 8 months and it's really working, and I am really enjoying all of my meals. Luckily I do like healthy food, so that's all good. But yeah, so hopefully that's given you a little bit of an overview of the plan and how that works and what you're going to need to consider as you are meal planning, and making sure that you're within your allowance every day. Okay, so I am going to group tomorrow, so I will do another weigh-in update, so fingers crossed for a good one this week, and I'll give you a little bit of an update on my week and what that's been like. And then I know a few people have been asking about the curry loaf, so I do plan to do that before the weekend. So yeah, I'll get that sorted and put that on so you can see how it's made and what it looks like when it's finished, because that is a really good one that I've come across lately, good recipe. So yeah, I will see you all soon. I will be filming tomorrow, so hopefully I'll have something up on Thursday for you. All right, see you later.